My name is Caroline New and I'm a leadership coach working with the Ingenesis team and the Being Profile. Having spent 30 years in the IT sector, I specialise in working with IT professionals, leaders, business owners and founders. I love working with technologists because I believe technology is what's going to change the world. Technology is what's going to solve the problems of this world. And I see my role as helping tech leaders and executives to step up, to develop the ways of being, the leadership capabilities and skills and knowledge, and the communication skills to really be able to have that impact and play that leadership role at a higher level. When you first see the Being Profile, you might be tempted to think, oh, this is just another personality profile or behaviour profile. And I've worked with lots of those. I've worked with capability frameworks in government. I've run assessment centres. I've done personality profiles and values profiles and behavioural profiles. And the Being Profile is actually different, profoundly different. It's not something that just measures behaviour or measures your personality traits. It measures ways of being. And the meta programs and the moods and drivers that engage with ways of being. So things like authenticity, responsibility, commitment, and whether your anxiety or your fear gets in the way of your access to being authentic or being responsible or being committed. And when you understand that these are ways of being, a deep insight around what's getting in the way, for example, of my being authentic, can create a shift, a deep shift inside me that allows me to choose differently moving forward, to actually choose authenticity just like that. Rather than having to build in a discipline of a new behaviour over a period of time, an insight can shape a change. I had an experience when I was in high school where, I used to tell funny one-liners or do that verbal repartee, but it was often targeted at a person. And I did it until one day a girlfriend said to me, she said something, I came back with a snappy one-liner that targeted her. And she turned to me with tears in her eyes and said, Carolyn, that really hurt. And I got it. I got that deep insight. It was like a punch to my guts, because I'd never stopped to consider previously that my funny lines that everyone laughed at were actually hurting the target. And I made a shift in that moment, profoundly, forever. I don't do one-liners that target people. I don't want to hurt people. And so it wasn't that I had to work on that new behaviour or discipline it in. It was a shift. It was a new way of being that I chose to bring, that I had access to. And this is the power of the Being Profile, because when we get those insights and when you work with a coach to understand what's getting in the way for you and what's possible for you, then you too can make a shift. You can gain access to deeper and more powerful ways of being that are going to create the satisfaction, the results, and the leadership in your life that will give you what you want and allow you to enjoy and experience life more fully. So I recently was working with a client who's a CTO with a government agency, and we were going through the Being Profile feedback process. And his comment at the end of the profile feedback was that he really felt gotten, that it made sense for him. But he was actually surprised by some of the scores. And the issue that we really explored deeply, because it affected him the most, was the score he got for authenticity, because he really felt that that was a badge of honour for him, something that he deliberately created and traded on as a character trait. And so the score wasn't where he thought it would have been. And so we explored that, and we explored using the moods and drivers of the Being Profile. And so what would get in the way? Was it fear? Was it anxiety? Were there areas where he didn't feel vulnerable or wasn't willing to be vulnerable? And he was able to perceive and identify that he was actually playing at being authentic in many contexts, and that he was actually holding back from being truly real and authentic with his team. And he got what was getting in the way, and he understood the power that would be available to him as a leader by actually being truly authentic. And so that comment at the end of that feedback process was wonderful, because he actually understood, this is who I've been and how I've been being, and this is the opportunity for me moving forward. And these are the areas that he's now working on to enhance his leadership and his experience of himself as a leader. Going through the Being Profile accreditation program really gave me a deeper insight into how the profile had been put together and why it had been put together the way it was. The various aspects of the profile, such as the meta, meta scores, moods and drivers, and the primary and secondary ways of being, and to understand, what each represented and how that would show up in my life or a client's life. And then being able to work with clients to actually draw that out. My role as the coach is always to help a client understand their experience, really identify what's getting in the way from them fully immersing themselves or experiencing the different ways of being that make life rich and rewarding and satisfying, and that allow us to have the impact that we want to have in the world. And so understanding what's getting in the way and what the opportunity is to then go deeper, to challenge ourselves, move to the next level, and really unleash almost all the ways of being and all the capacity and capability that we truly have. I'm thinking of a client who is a CTO in a business, an IT business here in Sydney, and he came to me with a lack of a sense of purpose. He didn't have a compelling future for his life. He was feeling disconnected at work. He was still working hard, but he knew that he wasn't fully engaged in the business, that he wasn't being as productive or as innovative and creative as he might have been in the past, or as he wanted to be and knew he could be. And so by using the being profile to really explore, where he was fulfilling his potential and where he wasn't, and what fears or anxieties were getting in the way, he was able to make a new commitment to himself and to the business around his participation and engagement in the business, but also the vision for his life and where he wanted to go and what he wanted to contribute to that organisation. And that's allowed him to change what he brings. One of my clients heads an organisation and is a leader in her field and has the potential through her approach to her work to completely reorient and shift a whole sector by engaging with other bodies and agencies in that sector and training them in what she does. And she's held back until now from actually taking some of the actions she knows she needs to take to really have the impact and create that ripple that she wants to create. And so we explored recently in a session, what's getting in the way for her, what fears or anxieties, what sense of vulnerability was stopping her from really taking the actions that she knows she needs to take, because it's not rocket science for her. There's some obvious things, and yet she's been unable until now to actually step into that power. And so by exploring this deeply and using the being profile as a way to uncover, where she's stuck and what the possibilities are for her, she's been able to make new commitments and take new actions that are really starting to raise the profile of her organisation, to get traction and the attention from the organisations that could fund her, and really allow her to have the impact that she and her organisation could and really do need to make to shift what's going on in that sector. Let's talk about the Thrive coaching program. For me personally, that has been an extraordinarily powerful experience. I came into the program with 15 years of coach experience under my belt, working with leaders, working with CEOs, CTOs, CIOs, and executives across government. But what I've learned in this program has been so profound for me, for my leadership, for my self-mastery, that it's allowed me to take my coaching and my experience of life to a whole new level. I now understand responsibility in a deeper way, and I'm able to act and be more responsible in my life, which means I get to create the kind of results that I want to create faster, with greater impact, more powerfully, and to enjoy my life more. There's a sense for me of accomplishment in my world. There's a sense of focus and a vision for where I'm going. Over the last few months working in the Thrive coaching program, I've really clarified my vision through this and other work that I've done, and it's allowed me to have a really powerful sense of purpose for the work I'm doing and where I'm heading in my life. It's been extraordinary. As a coach of 15 years experience, I've always got good results for my clients. I've always been an effective coach, and I have a great reputation. The Thrive coaching program has taken my coaching to the next level. It's given me clarity in what works, the structure that I want to use with my clients that allows me to have that edge in bringing them closely, bringing them quickly into the coaching, getting them present, getting rid of what might get in the way. And it gives me ways to re-presence them if something comes up, if we get distracted or they're going down a rabbit hole, I can bring them back because I have strategies and tools to do that. Now, I've always had frameworks, tools that I bring to my clients, but the addition of the being profile to my coaching and the Thrive coaching method for me as a coach just has made the world of difference in terms of being able to work powerfully with my clients, being able to go deep with my clients, and being able to work in areas like, freedom and love and gratitude, which may not initially appear to be relevant to business leaders and are so powerful. When we get these and we experience these ways of being, they add to our leadership in ways that you have to experience to really understand. Going through the Thrive coaching program has been an extraordinarily powerful experience for myself personally, and also for my clients, because I'm now a better coach than I was when I began. The program covers the intellectual knowledge that we need to understand the elements of the profile itself, the knowledge to understand how to engage with clients, how to set up a coaching session, how to ask questions and the types of questions that are impactful and when to ask this type as opposed to that type. So it covers the really fundamental aspects of coaching and what good coaching looks like and feels like. And it also covers things like sales and running a coaching business. And fundamentally underlying all that, there was a personal experience and a personal challenge for each of us of mastering the ways of being for ourselves, because as a Thrive coach, I need to be a role model for my clients. So I need to embody the ways of being that I'm coaching my clients around. It's not okay for me as a Thrive coach to coach my clients on their integrity and their responsibility scores when I'm not being authentic or responsible. And so the coaching program has been a powerful experience of growing my own responsibility score, of learning to be more vulnerable and more authentic, of owning my integrity in a deeper way and owning my results and being able to increase my results and do more and be more all the way through the program. It's been an extraordinary experience. I thoroughly recommended it to anybody, whether you're an experienced coach like I have been, like I've got 15 years under my belt, and this has taken my coaching to the next level. Now, I'm aiming for Master Coach, and I'll achieve that within the appropriate time frame. And that will make me a powerful coach for anybody that I choose to work with. As a Thrive coach now and using the Thrive coaching method, I have greater structure to my coaching. I always had some. I did my coach training 15 years ago and have added to it along the way. But the Thrive coaching method is clear, it is easy to implement, and it's really allowed me to become more powerful in my coaching, to understand at a deeper level, the power of a declaration, for example. Now, every time I start a coaching session, we have a clearing conversation. We have a contracting conversation about what I'm going to be working with that client on. What are they bringing and where do they need me to focus my attention to help them right now? And then they make a declaration. What are they going to bring to the session? For example, I am open and willing to be coached, or I'm going deep today and I'm not holding back. Whatever it is they need to bring, by making that declaration, they choose to go deep. They choose to be present and available for the coaching. And by them making the declaration, there's no hiding from where we go. And it gives me permission as the coach to go deeper, to go faster, to really coach powerfully, because they're here, present and engaged, and asking for that experience. Having gone through the Being Profile accreditation and the Thrive Coach program, the training program, and working with the Ingenesis team over several months now, I've developed a really deep respect for the knowledge and the capability and the ways of being that our leaders in that organisation bring. The Master Coach trainer was extraordinarily gifted in his ability to facilitate the training, to challenge us when we got in our own way, to create exercises that really took us deeper in our own experience of the ways of being, to really push us to the next level as Thrive coaches. And then the depth of knowledge that Ashkan, the Ingenesis founder, his knowledge around the ways of being, the philosophy behind it, the thinking, and he's packed all that into the Being Profile, which is what makes it such a profound tool. Being exposed to this level of knowledge has really stimulated my interest and curiosity, and taken me into new areas of study and learning, which are making me a better coach, and giving me a greater foundation for the work I do as a coach when working with my clients. In many ways, coaching is an inexact science. There's lots of training you can do, but it relies on the coach being masterful, the client being present and willing to engage and explore. There's that old saying, you can't coach someone who doesn't want to be coached. What the Thrive Coach program and the Being profile allow me to do is presence a client to their needs and their wants. I don't tell them where we're going. I ask and they tell me what they need, and I have ways to help them identify and highlight what's going to add most value for them. And then we go down those rabbit holes and we go deep quickly, because the clarity and the focus that we're both able to bring through the Thrive Coach approach allows us to work in partnership, allows me as the coach to create that synergy, that safety, that sense of partnership where we're literally working as one to achieve the outcome. It's a powerful experience for my clients. It allows them to create realizations that and things they may have been aware of intellectually previously but weren't actioning. Now they're saying, yes, I know what I need to do and now I'm ready to do it. And that's the difference I'm seeing with my clients. We're moving out of the intellectual understanding into deep, emotional, body intelligence understanding that allows them, by accessing these new powerful ways of being, by gaining greater access to their responsibility, integrity and commitment, and other ways of being as well, but allows them to actually change how they're being and what they're doing, and to get the results that are really going to make the difference for them in their businesses and in their lives.